One word. One word and your whole life can change. That's all it takes. To learn it, to understand it, and then to live by it. What one word could possibly hold that much power? Optimism. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of optimism? Do you think of that bubbly cheerleader or that rich kid or the kid that has never faced anything and everything's going to be great and they have no outlook on reality? Or do you think of the person who has faced struggle after trial and still are remarkably full of joy and full of opportunities? Because that's real optimism. It's the exact opposite of pessimism. You see, pessimism is just looking at everything that is bad as long-term and everything that is good as short-term. It's the whole perspective of when something bad happens, oh, that's just my life. And then when something good happens, it'll pass. Something bad will come in and interrupt that. But optimism is the exact opposite. It views all of the good things as long-term and all of the bad things as short. It looks at every trial, every tribulation, every issue in life, and it sees it as an opportunity to grow. In a study of 97,000 people, almost 100,000 people, they have found that those who were the most optimistic had lower heart disease, they had a higher pain tolerance, they had a stronger immune system, and they were much more likely to survive lung cancer. All from this one word. All because they choose to look at life as a blessing. Regardless of what's hit them, regardless of who's come against them, regardless of what's being said, regardless of what they've experienced, they choose to look at life from an optimistic standpoint. Now, optimism is not ignoring anything bad. It's not being completely naive of any evil that's going on in the world. It's completely aware of it, but it still chooses to look for the good. And I could sit here and I could tell you 100 different stories of things in my life that I've dealt with. But the one that shook me to my core was losing my father. He was my best friend. He was my first mentor, taught me everything, raised me whenever he didn't have to. He was there in my hardest, darkest times. And whenever I lost him and I was on the floor at the hospital crying harder than I've ever cried before, I remember thinking, how could this ever be good? How can I ever see this as an opportunity? Till I was with a patient of mine and they were dealing with death. And when they learned that I understood, they were much more likely and they were much more open to hearing what I had to say that could help them. Losing my father was the absolute hardest thing I've ever had to do, or I ever did, I ever went through. But it taught me empathy. It taught me grieving. It taught me processing. It helped me to understand that there literally is no time limit on grieving somebody. But you gotta have an exit strategy. So whenever you are dealing with something, you gotta know, this is when I know that this is over and I'm learning from it. My name is Tristan Helm of HelmMastery. And I'm not a life coach. I'm a perspective coach. And I can show you exactly how to do that.